Hi guys, just a quick video today. The topic I'm going to talk about is the HOA financially healthy, and how to think about it. And really, there's an easy trick that you can use when you're shopping for a new house. If you're shopping for something like these condos right here, or you're shopping for like a townhouse, or even if you're shopping for a single family residence that is in an HOA, you can tell almost everything you need to know just by using your eyes when you first visit the community. And you can see everything you need to know whether or not the HOA is financially healthy. Later on in the escrow process, if you make an offer and it gets accepted, you're going to get all of the financials from the HOA, and then we'll see it. But it never fails. I use this trick to find out if it's financially healthy before we go to that point, so that if I see a bunch of warning signs, we don't ever even make the offer. I advise my client, you got an HOA here, it's probably got financial problems, why bother? And it's never failed me. Every time that it looks like there's problems, there is. We find out they're broke. And then whenever it looks like they got plenty of money, they do. And so I already know in advance because I use this simple trick. So here it goes. The first thing I always look at is the blacktop, the asphalt on the parking lots. Is it nice and black? Is it clean? Does it look like it's well maintained and sealed up? Or is it all chewed up and bumpy and potholes? That one thing alone will tell you whether or not they have money, because the asphalt is very expensive and it's a big giant project. You only have to do it once every 25 years or something. And when you see it all chewed up and it hasn't been done, it's because they can't do it. That alone, if you see that, turn and run the other way, because you're going to find that they don't have enough money to do those big projects because they didn't save the money. They don't have reserve funds enough to do those projects. The other thing that's worth looking at is the red painted curbs. A lot of times you'll see yellow curbs too. Like you got some white ones over here. If the colors are nice and bright and bold, it's because they paint them all the time. They keep them maintained because they get beat up, and you can't keep those colors nice unless you paint them all the time. You're just updating them all the time. The exteriors of the buildings, same thing. The roofs. Look, this particular building right over here has roofers up on the roof right now. They're doing the roof right now. See, they're up there updating the roof. That's one of the best things you could ever see, because roofs are really expensive. That's your HOA money up there. And if they're doing the work, they're spending your money to keep the property maintained. That maintains property values, keeps you out of assessment problems and things like that. Another thing to always look at is the landscaping. The landscaping needs to be clean and manicured, not a bunch of leaves around, not a bunch of trash that's blown in here. If you see trash and leaves and stuff, it's because they don't have the money to do it. That's the bottom line. If it's all nice and clean like this, and the bushes and trees are healthy and everything looks fine, that's because they have the money to get landscapers in here constantly. There's probably a landscaper working in here 5-6 days a week, maybe even 7 days a week. They're going to be the only way you can keep a community like this nice and clean and maintained is to do it all the time. You're pouring money into it, thousands of dollars every week, and that takes money. In order to spend that money, you got to have the money. So that's how to think about it. This one looks fantastic. This is everything that I can see just right inside the main entrance gate. Everything I see tells me that later on, when we get the financials, I'm going to find out everything's fine, and they're spending their money wisely, and everything's going to be fine. If, by contrast, I came in here and the blacktop looks like hell, the paint's peeling off and flaking off all over the place, the roofs are covered, and the landscaping has like pine needles all over it, hasn't been blown out, and there's trash up in the corners and things like that, I already know. We're going to get the financials, and it's going to be a mess. And then my client, the buyer, is going to have to make a decision. Do I want to roll the dice and hope that they do things properly going forward, or am I going to have to take responsibility for the last 10, 20 years of financial irresponsibility? Because that's what you're buying. You're buying the irresponsibility of people in the past, and now you got to live with it. And that's tough, and it really does affect the property value, or it should. It'll definitely affect your life going forward. Anyway, that is my HOA Financially Healthy and how to think about it. I hope that's useful for you. Have a nice day.